We begin tonight with a mother outraged by the way a judge punished her daughter on a field trip to his courtroom. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Carolyn Clifford. 7 News Detroit broke the story 24 hours ago. Well, tonight, the teen's mom says she did not know what happened until we started digging. Her 15-year-old daughter fell asleep, and the judge felt compelled to teach her a lesson. Well, now the story is making national headlines. The entire country is talking about how the girl ended up in handcuffs and a jail uniform. 7 News Detroit reporter Ruta Olsonida is following up tonight as the teen's mom sounds off.
That mom says she was horrified to see her daughter in handcuffs and says Judge King didn't have the full story.
Would you want someone to treat your child like that? Would you even treat your child like that if he fell asleep in the courtroom?
Latoria Hill is a single mother of 2 children, including her oldest daughter, Eva Goodman. She signed her up for a summer program with the Grooming of Detroit nonprofit to keep her busy. What was supposed to be an educational field trip to 36th District Court Tuesday turned into a traumatizing experience for both of them. Judge Kenneth King not liking Eva's attitude and seeing her falling asleep, placing her in handcuffs and a jail uniform.
I'm thinking maybe she needs to go to the juvenile detention facility. You do understand that we have a jail for kids.
Latoria says Eva was falling asleep because the family does not have a permanent residence at the moment. They're just trying to make ends meet.
To belittle her in front of the whole world and her friends, to make her even feel more worse about our situation. I'm a single mother. I'm trying my best. I'm doing everything that I can.
You sleep at home in your bed, not in court.
So the fact that he was talking about you go home and get in your bed, how do you know my baby got a home? How do you know my baby got a bed, her own bed that she can sleep in? She don't have that right now. So she was tired.
We spoke to Judge King Tuesday, who stands by his actions to discipline the child after showing him, quote, attitude.
So do I have any reservations? Do I think I was heavy-handed in what I did? No, I don't, because I'll do whatever it needs to be done to reach these kids to make sure that they don't end up in front of me. So that was my own version of scared straight.
You didn't scare nobody straight. You made a parent upset. You scared my child. She was nervous, didn't even know how to act. She'd never been inside no courtroom.
Latoria, frustrated with how this was all handled, removed Eva from the summer program and stands up for her daughter now after she couldn't stand up for her in that courtroom.
And my baby been struggling and she been held on tight. She been going to school. She get good grades. She don't give me no problems.
Judge King has offered to mentor the girl. The family says they are not interested. In Detroit, I'm Ruta Olsonida, 7 News Detroit.
All right. Thank you so much, Ruta.
Well, at least he offered to mentor. Go ahead, Dara.
Who gonna want somebody to mentor them that humiliate them? And I just totally missed the whole memo that he had that girl get undressed and put on another uniform. Why are you having somebody else's kid get undressed and put on something else? That would, as a parent, I'd be upset. Why are you having my daughter change her clothes?
Stop it. Stop it. We're not going in that direction. That's
what it is, though.
No, stop that. Stop. Don't go ahead, bro.
You don't have no kid get undressed. You don't have no kid get undressed without their parent around in some public place that was not warranted for.
All right.
So it is what it is. How would you like it if your daughter would, if the judge told your daughter to get undressed and go change their clothes? Why wouldn't you want to know why your daughter got to change their clothes? To be disciplined, whatever that. I still don't understand what the lesson was for what he did.
Well, how don't you understand what the lesson was? It was plain.
How is it telling a girl to change her clothes or put on a uniform as a lesson? What is the lesson in that?
So you just skipped over everything that was said, and that's what you know.
I heard all of what he said, but it's still a 16-year-old. So I'm trying to understand for a 16-year-old what the lesson was.
So being disrespectful in court can hold you in contempt of court. You can go to jail for that. That was the lesson.
No, not no 16-year-old.
Right, because 16-year-olds have unilateral ability to be disrespectful without consequence.
If that's how you feel, that judge lost his cool.
No, is that how you are asking? Do 16-year-olds have unilateral ability?
It's expected. I wouldn't say they have the ability. It's expected for people at that age to act that way.
You got kids?
I do not.
Do you have nieces and nephews?
I do.
Have your
Lots
nieces
of
and
them.
nephews ever gotten verbally disrespectful with you or disrespectful with you?
No, they raising the home to be respectful.
Have you ever been disrespected by a kid?
Absolutely. I was a substitute teacher when I was in grad school.
And
Got
what did
disrespected many times with
you
those
do?
kids. But guess what I did? Get out of my class. That's what I told her to do. And then I pressed the button and told security, can you walk them to the office? Boom. That's what he could have did with that girl. And guess what? That girl was so embarrassed the next day she came to school and apologized because she was embarrassed that I kicked her out the room.
So you can embarrass a kid, but the judge can't.
No, that's not embarrassing. Tell the kid to leave the room. The
You
judge
just
could have
said
told
she was
that girl to leave
embarrassed.
the room. It would have been embarrassing. Had he told that girl to leave the courtroom, them little immature kids would have been like, ooh, and that would have been enough for her to be embarrassed. Okay? So I know I've been around kids long enough to know how to treat kids. And I don't see his point and what that kid was supposed to get in making her change her clothes to put on a jail. You didn't even take her to jail. So what's the point? You might as well did the whole thing.
I think there's one thing with getting called out, is what Chanel's saying. There's another thing with getting humiliated. Like, it's nothing wrong with calling a kid out away from the pack, putting the spotlight on them for their behavior, calling the behavior out. All of that is necessary. But I think the humiliation part of it for a 16-year-old, and I'm not saying if we go ahead to 18 or 21 that I would feel differently, but 16, that's like, I don't know. I just don't think. I mean, and the giggling, like, kids giggle at stupid stuff. They do. They don't get the seriousness of stuff, right?
If you sat there and told your kid what they needed to do, and they started giggling in your face.
My kids, wait.
Now that happens
my
all the
kids
time.
and every
Yeah,
kid
my niece and
is
nephews done that
different.
too.
Like, I think.
No, I just want to know.
I know you're taking it personal, right? In your home, you're gonna be harder on your kids so that the world isn't hard on them, right? What? So I understand that you're conflating those two as far as children. I could. Marcus don't believe in beating, but me and Reese can over here beat our kids if it came to that point, because we don't want the police to beat them, or we don't want the coach to knock them upside the head. So we understand that there's lines, there's barriers, like there's things that you're going to be harder on your child so that the world isn't hard on them. But the judge is considered the world. I get that, and I'm saying at 18 to 21, I may agree with you completely. But a 16-year-old girl, on a field trip, I don't agree with you, Sweeney.
So if your kid was disrespectful to you, well, my bad. If you told your kid to do something or whatever, and they laughed and giggled in your face when you told them to do it, you would do what?
My daughter does that now because she's a freaking goof troop. She's silly. She's funny. She's a comedian.
When you serious,
I'm not gonna beat her upside the head.
No, I didn't ask that. I said when you are serious and you want your daughter to do something, you like, no, I need you to do this, and she giggles at you and laughs in your face.
She does that right now. She does that
Sweeney,
right
what would you do?
now.
What would you do if your kid
does it
in your
right
face?
now, Sweeney?
I'm knocking her to a teeth click.
Oh, no.
And how do you feel somebody said that was too aggressive and abusive?
She's full of joy. Like, I'm not about to
dirty your mouth to your teeth click.
I'm not doing that.
My mama told me when she got disrespectful with my grandmother hit her so hard she lost the hearing in one ear and was afraid to tell her that she lost hearing out of fear that my grandmother was gonna hit her in the other ear. Wow. No, you fuck around and find out. That's what happens. Don't sit here and laugh in my face and I'm serious with you. What are we talking about?
You think that's beneficial to the kid? Do you think what you just
if you
described
think
is
your kid gonna learn from that, besides I don't like the fact
and also, Sonny, do you believe that women? Do you believe that little girls and little boys should be treated differently as well? Should be raised differently? I'm asking you.
Oh no! All right, so no, both of my kids get treated exactly the same. So you telling me if it was your son, you gonna knock his head off?
Different sexes should be treated differently. Yes, I do agree. I do agree with that.
You'll knock his head into the washer.
No, not at the same age. No, I'm not going to do that.
So what you gonna do to your son?
No, what I'm saying is, I'm saying a boy and a girl would be treated differently in society, and they should be treated differently in the home as well.
Right. So we should
You're
treat
going to be
girls with
harder.
kid gloves, because if that was a
No,
boy, we'd have been
no,
laughing at him.
Sweeney, I don't believe in kid gloves with females either, because I wasn't treated with kid gloves. So don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying be soft on you girls and be hard as hell on your boys. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that there is a difference though. So what I'm saying is a 16-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl, at the end of the day, they're still 16. But it may be a difference in sternness and what you allow from one that you don't allow from the other. I believe that. I believe that.
All right, let me get Ruth and Darwin in there. One of y'all can go first.
All right, so you want to go first?
Yes, I would like to go first.
Bruce, your mic a little hot, bro.
Thank you. So I think that I'm kind of in the middle, but more leaning to Sweeney's side. I think that when the judge was talking, he sounded like the dad, and the women, everybody else here sounded like the mom, where it's like, no, don't do that. Be nice and be, you got to be understanding. But the dad will be like, no, this is how it got to be. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he didn't put her in the jail cell. She's 16 years old. At 16, going on 17, you need to be ready for the world. So I would say with my kids, like the way I am, like I wouldn't trip if this happened to my child. I would be sad that happened to them, that they'd be traumatized. But what if there was a cop? And now they're giggling in front of a cop? That's a real life situation. I want you to handle yourself appropriately. I had to talk with my daughter the other day and saying, you're 12 now. This is the age of accountability. Like sometimes we babying the kids a little too much, and they're not ready for life. So in real life situations, I believe the people at the camp should have just prepared them and say, don't fall asleep, don't do this, don't do that. And if they had enough preparation, maybe they will all, be ready for that. So that's a lack of communication to say, hey, this is real life court. Anything can happen. I understand she's 16. And the only thing I don't agree with Sweeney is you wanted her to respond like an adult. And that's the thing. She's 16. There's something called developmentally appropriate. She's not going to have the right mindset to say the right thing at the right time. That's just the whole point. That's why we saying at 20, the same thing. At 25, maybe you're getting a little bit better. And then also she's a girl. So it's not really like it's frowned upon because she's a girl. But I do think that girls can get themselves in a lot of trouble. I didn't see the attitude, but what I'm thinking is she rolled her eyes. So now she's in trouble for rolling her eyes. She's in trouble for sucking her teeth or whatever like that. She didn't seem like the type to just, I didn't hear none of the stuff. Like we heard what he said, but we didn't really hear what happened. I don't know why he stood up that way. And that's why I agree with Marcus. It's like, why did you stand up? Why did you puff your chest out and just say, I'm going to teach you a lesson a day? Like that was way too much. I was overreaching. He's a judge. Now, if a teacher would have did that, like, how would we feel about that? You know what I mean? Then I would be upset. But this is real life. It was a judge. So it's kind of like he did too much, but that's real life. They will do too much. They will exert their power. It's just, he is like a microcosm of what really happens in our judicial system. People think they're God and they do whatever they want to do. And the kid got to be able to be ready. So she's just unprepared. I feel bad if this is her story, that she doesn't have a home. Kids be really going through stuff. That's why they taught you in education, when you're getting your degree in education, they say you don't know what the kids are going through or what the parents are going through. So maybe the judge needs some training on, if you're going to have these people come in your courtroom, you need to know how to treat the children, because they're still children. But like I said, 16 is very close to 18. So she does need to be prepared. But I think he overreached. I think it's a power trip. I really don't like when judges act like that, but it's real life.